Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we're going to unpack something that sits in literally millions of backyards, yet is so rarely fully understood. Today, we're looking at the anatomy and the alchemy of your pool. We're going to journey from the physical outside, the very edges and boundaries that contain the water, all the way down into the invisible chemical inside that actually keeps it safe. I promise you, by the end of this, you're going to look at a swimming pool in a completely different way.
Now, let me ask you a quick question. Have you ever stepped out of your pool only to realize your favorite swimsuit looks, well, a little bleached? Or maybe you're a DIY pool owner who's battled one of those stubbornly green pools that just refuses to clear up no matter what you throw at it. It is incredibly frustrating. But here's the secret. The root cause of these annoying, persistent issues usually isn't bad luck. It's actually bad math.
Okay, let's dive right into Section 1, the boundaries, pool edges, and skimming. So before we get to the math and the chemistry, we have to understand the physical container itself. The boundaries of your pool dictate how water is displaced, how it's skimmed, and how it flows into the filtration system. And it all starts with the edge we see every single day. When you look at pool edge designs, there are really two standard systems. On one side, we have the freeboard design. This is your classic skimmer pool. It features a visible distance, usually about 150 millimeters, between the water level and the perimeter deck, with skimmer units placed around the edge to suck up surface debris. On the other side, we have deck level, or overflow designs. Think of a stunning infinity edge. Here, the water provides a complete surface skim by constantly flowing over the edge into a channel. But what's really fascinating about deck level pools is that they require a hidden balance tank. Because the water is totally flush with the deck, any water displaced by people jumping in has to go somewhere, right? That balance tank holds the displaced water and then smoothly returns it once everyone gets out.
Moving right along to Section 2, the master volume number.
Let's move from those visible edges to the invisible chemistry of the water itself. Because whether you have a classic freeboard skimmer or a luxurious infinity edge, every single pool is governed by this one single metric. And what's truly mind-blowing is just how much relies on this exact master volume number. Your volume literally dictates everything. Your pool pump needs to be sized correctly to turn over your entire water volume once every 8 hours. If you're buying a heater, its BTU rating is calculated directly against your pool's gallon capacity. And, absolutely most importantly, every single chemical dose, shock treatment, and salt chlorine generator setting depends entirely on knowing exactly how much water you're actually treating.
You can think of pool volume like a strict Goldilocks scenario. You have to get it just right. If you guess your volume is lower than it actually is, you're going to underdose your chemicals. The result? Algae can bloom in your water in as little as 48 hours during the summer heat. No thank you. But what if you overestimate by just 2,000 gallons? Well, then you're adding 20% too much chlorine. And that is exactly what bleaches out your expensive vinyl liner, ruins those swimsuits, and leaves swimmers with burning eyes and irritated skin.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, finding your average depth. So how on earth do we find this master number without draining the pool and measuring it bucket by bucket? Well, it all starts with depth. And right here is where most people make a massive rookie mistake. They measure the height of the pool wall. If you use an 8-foot wall height for your deep end instead of where the water actually sits, you can overestimate your pool's volume by a staggering 45%. You need to find the actual water depth, not the wall height. And there's a brilliantly simple way to do it. Just drop a weighted string from the pool edge down to the floor at the shallow end, and then do the exact same thing at the deep end. Measure the wet part of the string. You take your shallow end measurement, add it to your deep end measurement, and divide that total by 2. This brilliant little 4-step checklist gives you your true average depth, and it naturally corrects for things like sloped floors or those steep hopper bottoms that can completely throw off your math.
Next up is Section 4, the math by pool shape.
Okay, let's see how this all builds together. Now that we have our highly accurate average water depth, we need to bring in a little geometry. Don't worry, we're keeping it simple. It turns out that just 3 basic shapes account for roughly 95% of all residential pools in North America. But before we look at those shapes, you absolutely need to know the magic multiplier, 7.48052. That is the exact number of US gallons contained within 1 cubic foot of water. When you calculate your pool's dimensions, you get cubic feet. To turn that into gallons, you multiply it by 7.48052. Now, a lot of people try to take a shortcut and round this up to 7.5. Don't do that. Using the rounded number actually overstates your volume, which, as we learned earlier, leads straight to chemical overdosing. Stick to the exact magic multiplier.
The crucial point here is applying that multiplier to your specific shape. For a rectangular pool, it's incredibly straightforward. Length times width times average depth multiplied by our magic 7.48052. But round and oval pools introduce a new constant, 0.7854. So what is that? It's simply the value of pi divided by 4. It's an essential mathematical constant used to perfectly account for the curves in round and oval pools, effectively shaving off the invisible corners of a square calculation.
Now, what if you have one of those classic retro kidney-shaped pools? Well, because they don't follow a perfect geometric curve, they don't actually have a clean formula. Instead, the pool industry uses a standard approximation multiplier of 0.585. So you multiply your longest length, your widest width, your average depth, the 7.48052 gallon multiplier, and finally 0.585 to properly account for that unique indented shape.
But hey, if you absolutely hate doing math, you might not even have to. Standard pool dimensions follow highly predictable volumes. For instance, if you have a standard 24-foot round above-ground pool with a 52-inch wall, standard baselines tell us you're sitting right at about 15,300 gallons. A standard 16 by 32-foot rectangular in-ground pool, that's roughly 19,200 gallons. These kind of standard volume benchmarks are just fantastic baselines to double-check your own math.
Let's move into our final section today, Section 5, the U.S. gallon trap.
Because even if your math is completely flawless, there is a hidden danger in pool maintenance that trips up thousands of unsuspecting owners every single year. The trap hinges on a massive 20% discrepancy. You see, the U.S. gallon, which is the standard unit for pool volume and equipment in North America, holds 3.785 liters. But the imperial gallon, historically used in places like Canada and the UK, holds 4.546 liters. That is a 20% difference in liquid volume, completely hidden under the exact same name, gallon.
And why this matters is absolutely crucial. If you buy a pool chemical that was labeled for the imperial market, the dosing instructions assume a larger volume of water per gallon. If you apply that to your U.S. gallon measured pool, you are going to accidentally overdose your water by 20%. In practical terms, that 20% overshoot pushes your chlorine levels dangerously out of the recommended safe zone of 1 to 3 parts per million, spiking it all the way up to 3.6. It is a completely hidden geographic labeling trap that will completely ruin your water balance. So we come right back to where we started. You know your pool's physical shape, you know if you have a freeboard skimmer or a displacement deck level edge, but I want to leave you with this provocative challenge. Do you really know your master number? Don't just guess it. Please don't eyeball it based on the height of the wall. Grab a tape measure, a weighted string, and a calculator. Find your true average depth, apply the magic 7.48 multiplier, and discover the exact alchemy of your pool before you pour in your next chemical dose. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Now go crunch those numbers.